The four flat, and she's got the edge, but Paulino's coming back. She's not beaten yet. This is so close. McLaughlin-Levrone for history. She's driving for the line, and she's done it. 47.80.
The Olympics are supposed to be the biggest stage for track and field athletes, where legends are made and records are shattered. But right now, some really bad decisions are putting that all at risk for the 2028 Los Angeles Games. Every 4 years, we get to watch the best athletes in the world compete at the Olympics. We see incredible races, amazing performances, and sometimes world records that leave us speechless. The Paris Olympics gave us so many unforgettable moments, including Cole Hocker's epic 1500-meter gold medal. That race was absolutely incredible. Now, you would think that with such a huge event, the people organizing it would carefully plan everything out. They should make sure the schedule works well for the athletes, right? Well, that's not what's happening. Recent announcements about the LA 2028 schedule have professional athletes complaining, Olympic champions speaking out, and experts worried about athlete safety. Let's start with some history. Los Angeles hosted the Olympics back in 1984, and it was amazing. More Olympic records were broken there than at any other games. Carl Lewis broke the record in the 200 meters. Valerie Briscoe Hooks broke records in both the 200 and 400. Sebastian Coe broke the record in the 1500. In total, 20 Olympic records fell in LA. It was a historic event for speed and performance. So with that incredible history, you'd expect the 2028 organizers to want the same thing, to help athletes perform at their absolute best. Unfortunately, that's not what the current schedule is doing. The first major problem involves Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, one of the biggest names in track and field. For the past 2 Olympic cycles, she has completely dominated the 400-meter hurdles. She broke the world record in Tokyo, then broke it again in Paris. She hasn't lost a 400 hurdles race since 2019. When someone finally did beat her back then, it took a world record to do it. She's that good. But McLaughlin-Levrone isn't just amazing at the hurdles. She also ran 47.78 seconds in the flat 400 meters at this year's World Championships, winning gold. That's the second fastest time in history. Some people even call it the actual world record because of questions about times from the 1980s. For months now, Sydney and her coach Bob Kersey have talked about winning both the 400 and the 400 hurdles at the LA Games. This would be historic. No athlete in history has ever won both events at the same Olympics. It's incredibly hard to do, but if anyone can, it's McLaughlin-Levrone. Here's the problem. The current LA 2028 schedule makes this double nearly impossible. On Tuesday, July 18th, she would have to race in both events. Then on Thursday, July 20th, things get really bad. She would need to run the 400 hurdles semifinals and then just 1 hour later, run the 400-meter final. 1 hour. That's barely enough time to cool down, let alone recover and prepare for an Olympic final. Athletes need to be at 100% to compete at that level, not worried about getting injured. This Thursday session is especially dangerous. And think about what we're missing out on. McLaughlin-Levrone in an Olympic final is basically a guaranteed world record. This would happen on home soil in front of a packed stadium. We might not see an opportunity like this again for decades. Some people say she could still pull it off with this schedule, but honestly, the risk of injury seems way too high compared to the reward of winning both golds. This is a huge mistake that needs to be fixed. But wait, there's an even bigger problem. The women's 100 meters is scheduled to be completed in a single day. That means the fastest women in the world would have to run 3 races, the opening round, the semifinal, and the final, all within about 12 hours. This is a terrible idea. Running 3 rounds in one day increases the injury risk dramatically. Athletes can't fully rest between races, and the chances of seeing a super fast time go way down because everyone's tired. Where did this idea even come from? Athletes are not happy about this. Freddy Crittenden asked, "Who asked for this?" Hunter Woodhall said, "Bold move. Hope that doesn't stick." Champion Allison and Trey Cunningham shared their frustrations on Instagram too, but the best reaction came from Warren Weir, a Jamaican sprinter who won bronze in the 200 meters at the 2012 Olympics and silver at the 2013 World Championships. When he heard about this schedule, he didn't hold back. Warren said,
"And it's absolutely crazy to think that a group of people sit down and decide that yo, how are we going to make track and field worse for the athletes? They sit down and them say, you know what? Let's start with the females. Let's make them run all rounds one day.
He then talked about an article he saw. The article quoted Janet Evans, the LA28 chief athlete officer, saying,
"We spoke at length with my athlete commission and it was a largely qualitative conversation," said the LA28 chief athlete officer.
He asked,
I also want to ask Janet, who was in that meeting? Like, what do you mean by it was a positive, largely positive conversations? I'm quite sure half of them people are not thinking about the athlete's well-being for them to run all 3 rounds one day.
Then Warren got sarcastic and suggested an even crazier idea. He said,
since we are dealing with chaos, here what we can do. I have a better idea. How about we just run? Like, we already picked back to back. How about we make it one better and just make them walk back? Just like training. Yeah, walk back. As soon as you finish, and the next heat go, and the next heat go, and by the time all the heats them finish for round 1, semi-finals go same time. And after semi-final done, you walk back to the start and we'll make the finals just run same time. What about that? That would be much better. Yeah. Let's do that. Because since we have picked madness, let's just do that. So my suggestion is walk back. So all 3 rounds one day and just walk back to start line. So that way you don't have to warm up back. That way you don't have to cool down. You know, you're already ready to go. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's my suggestion. Because y'all crazy.
Obviously, Warren was being sarcastic. But here's the thing. He's an Olympic medalist. He knows what he's talking about. And he's not alone in thinking this is a bad idea. Now here's where it gets really strange. The official World Athletics website tells a completely different story. According to them, this is Olympic innovation at its best, and they created this schedule by collaborating with World Athletics and listening directly to their athlete community. Shauna Ferguson, the LA28 chief of sport, said, "We are thrilled to showcase the fastest women in the world on day 1, allowing them to inspire a global audience at the start of the most comprehensive Olympic sporting program in history." But that doesn't match what the athletes are saying at all. To run your fastest in a final, you need rest. You need time away from the track to recover properly. Based on all the feedback from actual athletes, nobody seems to want this. People are worried about injuries. They don't think fast times are possible when you race 3 times in 12 hours. So which is it? Did they really talk to athletes and get positive feedback, or is someone not telling the truth? Either there was a huge communication problem, or someone is lying about what the athletes actually want. Something doesn't add up here. The official schedule shows the women's 100 meters will kick off the entire LA 2028 Olympics on July 15th. All 3 rounds, including the final, happen that same day the men's 100-meter final comes on day 2. World Athletics President Sebastian Coe said the schedule will start with a bang as our women's sprinters take center stage on day 1. This schedule is deeply problematic. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone's chance at history is being crushed by poor planning. The women's 100-meter sprinters are being asked to do something that puts their health at risk and hurts their performance, and the officials keep saying athletes want this when the athletes themselves are saying the opposite.
They're still side by side with 50. Lyles trying to find something. He stretches away. It is a global title again.
Noah Lyles just stunned the track world with a massive announcement. The reigning king of the 200 meters didn't break a record. He revealed something far bigger, something no one saw coming. And now the entire sport is scrambling for answers. But to see why this announcement matters, we have to look back at the final stretch of 2025, a season that reshaped everything around him.
But the golden career of Noah Lyles over his favourite event just keeps on going and going.
It's number 4, baby. By the grace of God.
Lyles entered the 2025 season with the kind of expectations only a once-in-a-generation athlete carries. The spotlight wasn't just on him, it was glued to him. Everyone wanted to know if he could continue the momentum he built from 2023 and 2024, when he took global titles, Olympic glory, and a series of world championship triumphs. And yet, something shifted this year. something deeper, because 2025 was the year Noah Lyles didn't just run fast, he ran with purpose, with maturity, and with something to prove not just to the world, but to himself.